Hey, good evening, everyone. It's Sandy Shellis, and I'm really happy to have you all here with me tonight. I was almost like choking to death on my coffee during that intro. I thought maybe I'd start out with a couple of things, but it's great to see y'all. Oh, I'm sorry, Karen. Karen lost a friend. My gosh. It's a tough time. It's a tough time for all of us. But I wanted to talk about degrowth tonight because yesterday I watched their degrowth talks. Actually, I listened all the way up and home. I had doctor's appointments in Buffalo. You can see where I am here. The picture behind me is Buffalo, New York. And I thought what I would do is just show you a quick little video um, of what it looks like when you're driving in industrial civilization like Buffalo. And you see that's a Peace Bridge behind me. And I'm going to show you this, but are you guys there? Did it come back? I actually don't know what happened. Hang on. Come back to me. Wow, it said it buffered me and I had to resume. And that's really stupid. That shouldn't happen. Let me see what this sounded like when it was going wrong. I can't even hear it. But you can hear me. Technical difficulty. And I drove this way every day. Look at the right. And the clouds were really ominous Um, last night. And I don't like driving in the city anymore. It is nerve wracking. And I had to drive home in the dark last night. See, it keeps telling me stream quality is lowered, even though I have my brand new, beautiful, wonderful thing. But I'm going tomorrow to AT&T and I'm going to scream at them. But that's what it looked like last night. And this is, between listening to the degrowth talks, and listening to, let me see, I think I have one more. Listening to degrowth and listening to William Reese and listening to all the things I was listening to, everything here made me really think of this, that we all bitch about capitalism, and we all bitch about, we listen to Richard Wolf and he talks about all the different systems, but we really need to understand, first of all, the movements that are happening. And uh, Kim says, I think I'm going to buy those night vision glasses. Well, guess what? I have them and I wear them. They're orange. They work. All right. I don't know what happened. Why, Rich Diana, why are you asking me if I'm wearing a large white hoop in my nose? All right, listen to me. I didn't mean that to happen. I don't know what happened. Hey, Peggy, how are you? I really don't know what happened. It just said I had to go off and I had to come back on. If they're slowing me down, I have a big problem with AT&T. Literally, I got the booster. Things were great, and AT&T is like, they're like saying I'm eating data, and I'm using my data in 8 days now. It never happened before, so I have to go and take care of this tomorrow. Unfortunately, it's not another day out. But it's great to see all of you. And I wish I could show you. I'm going to try. I'm going to see if it works. Not this one. I just want to show you, because we're going to get into a couple things. I want to show you William Reese, because William Reese has been talking about this. Everybody's interviewed him. Hambone's interviewed him. I don't think I can get the audio to play if I play it, but this was 2014, and he did this in 2014. Why degrowth? Dialogue on pathways toward a smaller economy. And I don't know what's happening. I had to resume again. I really don't know. We had power outage, but that was the other day and everything was fine. So I really don't know what's going on with this. It tells me I stopped. But I have my little bit of notes that I took for me. And it's transforming societies to ensure environmental justice, right? And a good life to all within planetary boundaries. Okay, so we have to figure out what planetary boundaries. Degrowth movement of activists and researchers advocates for societies that prioritize social and ecological well-being instead of corporate profits, overproduction, and excess consumption. Now, to be distinguished from recession, degrowth means a phased plan of planned and equitable economic contraction in the richest nations, eventually reaching a steady state that operates within the Earth's biophysical limits in a world of 7.2 billion and counting, right? We need to think hard about our fair share. Absolutely. We have to think hard about it. And I think those of us who are in this genre, of course, we think hard about it. We think about it because our brains never stop. And we also learn from each other in different shows. There's some excellent shows. I mean, for gosh sakes, Dave already has an app out on the App Store from his Just Have a Think. I was like, it's not, complete by any means, but he has an app. Can you imagine an environmental coffeehouse app? So I've got some stuff. So William Reese, I can't play this though. That's the problem. If I play this, you can't hear it. And I haven't figured that out, but that's him. And he talks about this whole thing. And this was from 2014. So if you want to see it, there is an entire piece on this, okay? It's 3 parts, and I have the link up there. So the next thing I want to go to is First thing I want to go to is this article. The picture, the classical. Yeah, there you go. All right, we're going to go through the conversation. Yes, William Reese, you recognize him. He's amazing. And yes, I've had a lot of buffering, and I'm sorry. I will be settling my problems. I thought I did. So this was from 2014. And it starts out, I also have my own slideshow for you. But this starts out, and of course, I'm not going to read the whole thing. But it starts out talking about life in a degrowth economy. And what does it mean? What does genuine economic progress look like? The orthodox answer, right, is that a bigger economy is always better. But this idea is increasingly strained by the knowledge that on a finite planet, the economy can't grow forever. And the global predicament. We used to live on a planet that was relatively empty of humans. Well, today, 2014, it is full to overflowing. And we all know what that means. We would need 1.5 Earths to sustain the existing economy into the future. And I have the overshoot stuff to pull up. So this is if you want to listen and really learn something, and then you'll know where to go from here. I think personally, coupled with some kind of this degrowth movement, coupled with the climate mobilization, you've got something that's working to mobilize in catastrophic events, which is a more immediate thing. And then you have the degrowth movement, which is seeking to change our world, our economies, the economic system, and come in, but not in a recession, just change it all over the world. But it's a lot of political buy-in for something like this. We always know that. Can it work? But there are a lot of people out there feeling like perhaps it can. And in this article I was reading, it talks about the degrowth to a steady state economy. I'm going to go back to it. And the idea of a steady state economy presents us with an alternative. This term is somewhat misleading. However, because it suggests that we simply need to maintain the size of the existing economy and stop further growth. But given the extent of ecological overshoot and bearing in mind that the poorest nations still need some room to develop their economies and allow, the poorest nations still they need it to allow the poorest billions to attain a dignified level of existence, the transition will require the richest nations to downscale radically their resource and energy demands. Now, of course, it says the realization has given rise to an economic degrowth. And again, I told you what it was. It was not a recession. And so here we are in 2020. And this article was talking about degrowth in 2014. William Rees was talking about degrowth. There is a movement. It's mostly in Europe, and I will show you. But 2020 is much different, isn't it? How many people are thinking about degrowing the economy? All they talk about with COVID is that our economy is kind of screwed, and look what we are. Look what we're facing. We're facing a degrowth, but forced. And the only thing that's not degrowing is the stock market. And Jeff Bezos is on his way to being a trillionaire. I mean, if I had scales, I could show you. The scales are so tipped. It is pathetic. It's very pathetic. So this article, they're going to go through everything, enough for everyone, forever. When one first hears calls for degrowth, it's easy to think that this new economic vision must be about hardship and deprivation, that it means going back to the Stone Age and resigning ourselves to a stagnant culture, or being anti-progress. Not so. Degrowth would liberate us from the burden of pursuing material excesses. And God knows I've been chained to that. And it's ruined my life several times. I'd like to be liberated for once and for all. I've been trying to do it, right? Who's with me on this one? So we simply don't need so much stuff. Okay, we all know that. Look at that store. It would liberate us. We'd have a simpler way. There would be a way of life based on modest material and energy needs, but nonetheless rich in other dimensions. A life of frugal abundance. It's about creating an economy based on sufficiency, knowing how much is enough to live well, and discovering that enough is plenty. The lifestyle implications of degrowth and sufficiency are far more radical than the light green forms of sustainable consumption. I'm going to go down and say, what do they say a life would be like? Because I have a slideshow, and I kind of want to do that before I go on to the rest of what I have for you. What would it be like in a degrowth society? We would aspire to localize our economies. Forgive me. Okay. And don't worry, again, it's not COVID. Okay, so in a degrowth society, we would aspire to localize our economies as far and as appropriately as possible. This would assist with reducing carbon-intensive global trade, while also building resilience in the face of an uncertain and turbulent future. Well, we are living in that uncertain and turbulent future, and it was only 6 years later. Through forms of direct or participatory democracy. Boy, did we forget what that's like in the United States. We would organize our economies to ensure that everyone's basic needs are met, and then redirect our energies away from economic expansion. Has to be done. This would be a relatively low energy mode of living that ran primarily on renewable energy. And of course, renewable energy cannot sustain an energy-intensive global society of high risk and consumers, right? A degrowth society embraces the necessity of energy descent, turning our energy crisis into an opportunity for civilizational renewal. And again, to those of you who say that we are too late and we are fucked, we don't know, so we're going to go for it, right? You're going to sit back and just say, I'm not doing anything like they accuse us of? No, that's why I bring you these amazing people. I'm going to show you the rest of the group. We'll just go through this really quickly. Whenever possible, we would grow our own organic food, water our gardens with water tanks, and turn our neighborhoods into edible landscapes, as the Cubans have done in Havana. So the Cubans are really they are who we should be looking at. Cuba is the country. My folks have been there, and my brother's been there, and they loved it. They thought it was wonderful. And then they come back here to a crazy country, right? But community gardens, all this stuff, right? We don't need to purchase so many new clothes. Let us mend or exchange the clothes we have. Buy secondhand. Go back to the ways we were. Radical recyclers and do-it-yourself experts. All right, so the article's a little hopium, but I like it because we are alive. We are living. We're waking up every day. We might even live in cob houses that we build ourselves. And see, the movement is, right? Tiny houses, and people are starting to build small houses. But over the next few critical decades, the fact is that most of us will be living within the poorly designed urban infrastructure that already exists. We are hardly going to knock it all down and start again. Instead, we must retrofit the suburbs, as leading permaculturist David Holgram argues. That would involve doing everything we can to make our homes more energy efficient, more productive, and probably more densely inhabited. This is not the eco-future that we are shown in those glossy design magazines featuring $1 million green homes that are prohibitively expensive that people like Jeff Bezos live in, even Al Gore. Degrowth offers a more humble and, I would say, realistic vision. So maintaining the change. And they have here with very many, ways, acknowledgement, and he says, of course, actions at the personal household levels will never be enough on their own to get to a steady state. But I am not going to go through this because he's done, right? He didn't either. So I want to do my little presentation here, guys, for you. And I'm going to start with a little bit of music and make sure it's not too loud. I'm working on what I can do with this stuff, and I love doing it. So I'm starting out with a graphic that I gotta move this back to me. Okay, enjoy. This is the original Degrowth graphic, and I'm gonna put myself over there. And I'm going to put this down. So this says, when it comes to the planet and growth, it's clear that we cannot have both. So what do? Once we've already outgrew the Earth system's boundaries? Degrowth. Yeah, degrowth. I like it. I like it as much as I like the climate mobilization. And then, so that's the start of that one. And let's check out this little one. Degrowth. It's not about doing less of the same. It's about doing things differently, working towards common social and environmental goals. It's essentially about turning an elephant into a snail. I absolutely love that one. Hi, Chris. I haven't seen. Excuse me. I'm saying, what's going on here? I see that those ones have not. I was a moderator. Not sure what I've done. I have no idea what you're talking about, Chris. I will check it out. I have no idea why you're not a moderator, and I'm not sure how to do it through my software. Okay, so maybe you know why you're not a moderator? Because it says the natural, progressive, and raw media. Sorry, guys, I took a break because when a friend of mine gets upset, I'm going back to my show. I'll see you tomorrow. When you changed your name, it probably kicked you off as a moderator. So why would you feel unwelcome? That's silly. We're talking about degrowth. Thank you for handling that, Kim, because that's crazy. Unwelcome. She says welcome as she ever was. Okay, let's get back. Let's get our mojo back and not get distracted. Okay, so it's essentially about turning an elephant into a snail. Isn't that good? I love that one. And then we're going to go to overshoot. Because, and I'm probably going to take myself off or move, or I don't know what to do here. Here, Earth overshoot, and I'm going to actually go to an article, all right? The article will show, we're going to, detail more on this, but this actually shows, you know what, I'll move myself down here, and it shows, make it a little smaller, and I think we can do it. 70 to 220. Excuse me. And 1970 just goes up and up and up. See, 1.6 Earths. We're definitely headed in the wrong direction. we are so definitely headed in the wrong direction, and that's why we're doing this tonight. You remember the old Great Acceleration? Remember that one? I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but it's clearly shown in every component of the human enterprise, how we've just accelerated since 1750. So that really shows me that there is a huge need for degrowth and a movement. Now here's a newer version. Oh, I lost everything. Wait a second. Come on. Okay, so here we go. This is the Great Acceleration, but with population and real GDP and foreign direct investment, water use, paper production, fertilizer consumption, motor vehicles, primary energy use, telephones, tourism, river dams, McDonald's, restaurants, atmosphere, CO2, atmosphere N2O, atmosphere CH4, we talk about all the time, atmosphere, ozone depletion, the northern hemisphere surface temperature, loss of tropical rainforest and woodland, domesticated land, great floods, fisheries fully exploited, flood frequency, coastal nitrogen, species extinction. That's the acceleration here now. And believe it or not, this was a Bloomberg graph. I got it off of Twitter, but I liked it because it told the story. It told the story. And hi, Mark Adams. He's our other mod. I don't know who's the mods. Things change, Okay, now we're going to go into this degrowth talks, and there's 3 books I'm going to tell you about, and their background of their project is degrowth, not only label or academic debate, but also an emerging social movement and commonalities with others, learning, network, and publication project with 32 social movements. Published online with videos, podcasts, as a German book first, an English book now, and I'm going to get there's 3 books, part of a left, green, and social mosaic. Man, I wish these books were in audio, because then I can run around and do my 4,000 things that I'm doing. Commonalities, orientation around needs, humans as complex relational beings, comprehensive analysis, global justice, rejection of the green economy, and we all know what that is because it's a growth economy, democratization, paradigm shift, social, ecological transformation, intervene here and now, commonalities. I just did. Lessons. Okay, so lessons. And believe this was a presentation quite lengthy, and you're going to watch it, I hope. This was their show yesterday, the debate. It was great. It was just fantastic. And Human was there. I saw Human. And of course, we were all excited to see each other because I'm going to listen to this, because if we have a shot in hell, even to live a better life, I like this. And I don't think it's just like the other, we don't have time. That's economic too, and that appeals to the upper echelon. So, as an intellectual and academic critique, degrowth has grown strong, but not as an in movements like XR. And people were asking in the chat yesterday, is this going to meld with XR? And I don't remember if I heard everything because I have to listen to it again. What we need is to strengthen degrowth's appeal by working with and in social movements. It's not just about degrowth, but about global justice. A good life for everyone. A good life for everyone. And the differences: moral frame of reference, relationship to capitalism, transformation strategies, criticism of power and domination, openness for alliances, organizational structure. All the plans are happening. They're all happening. So I thought that was spectacular, and I will show you their website. I'll show you the video, what it looked like. But I know I'll show you their YouTube channel, and I hope that you look at these videos. They have a lot of them, and let me see. Degrowth Talks. They only have 1.55 thousand subscribers. This has to go big. Please subscribe to them. And I want to be doing more with this. Look at their playlist, and this is what I watched yesterday. The Great Growth Debate, 1,000 views, and they're talking about how we can change, but of course it's political will. The United States is, and I don't know. I don't know. Human says there is no common past and no future except in your mind, just here and now with love. Yeah, just here and now with love. Sandy, is this related to the donut economics model? I don't know, Jean, but I'd have to look at it, and maybe we could while we're doing this. So that's their channel. I suggest everybody will go over there, I hope. And this was William Reese. He did his whole thing in 2014, and the link is there. And then I have another article. I don't know how much I want to go in, but to that one. They also have a Twitter feed, Degrowth Talks. They have a nice Twitter feed. So if you're on Twitter, follow them. They really need people to follow them. This is a very important, I think, movement. And I don't know if they're going to hook up with We Don't Have Time. We Don't Have Time are the people that are dealing with the big greens. I follow them, though. I do. And then there is what I wanted to talk about was before, let me see how long I've been. Okay, I've been half an hour. I wanted to talk about Earth Overshoot Day. Because Earth Overshoot Day, I'm going to move this up a little bit. Earth Overshoot Day is kind of like a basic to this. We're overshooting, and that's a need for degrowth. And that's a need also for having a mobilization for our climate, for our people all over the world. Every community in the world right now, Nicaragua is going to need help. Nicaragua is going to have climate refugees from these hurricanes that have they've been insane. And this one's called Yona, I think. It's just insane. Nick was going to come on tonight, but I went too early for him. So we'll see what happens Thursday. But we all know about this overshoot and 1 Earth, 1.6 Earths. We see the months. There was a better one, though. I want to find that other one. Here, I'm going to find this other one. Country overshoot days. Okay, look at this graph. This is the coolest graph. Can you see this? I want to see it. Yes, you can see this. Okay. In this graph, all of these countries, when would Earth Overshoot Day land if the world's population lived like, and then it shows all these different countries. So Qatar, if the world lived like Qatar, February 11th, they're the first one. February 11th, United States is March 14th, all right? And so it goes on and on. Costa Rica would be in August. And if we all lived like Ecuador, Iraq, Nicaragua, we would have a much later overshoot day. It would just be so much different. But isn't that a cool global footprint network, national footprint? These will be in there. So a country's overshoot day is the date on which each overshoot day would fall if all of humanity consumed like people in that country. And they determine it. They have their way. They say take Switzerland's 2020 overshoot day, for example, using 219. The ecological footprint for Switzerland is 4.4 GHA per person. Global bio capacity is 1.63 GHA, which I didn't compute. And therefore, it would take 4.64 divided by 1.63 equals 2.8 Earths if everyone lived like the Swiss. Or we can determine Switzerland's overshoot day, given that 2020 is a leap year, as blah, 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 equals 129th day in the year. And that would be the 8th day of May. I never sat and figured it out. I didn't do the math. So this has been very interesting, I think, and we should really look at these people and understand what they're talking about. Let's look at the graphic. Let's look at the video, and we'll look at. They have all of the books in here. Let me see. I make this turn off. I don't think you're going to be able to hear it anyway. So this was their live debate, and there's 3 books. And they are on Facebook. God, excuse me. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And these are the books that they presented yesterday. And this one is Degrowth in Movements, a dictionary of social movements and alternatives for a future beyond economic growth, capitalism, and domination. 0 books. Okay, these links are in there. And then there's another book. The next one is Exploring Degrowth, a Critical Guide, Pluto Press. And the third one. And the authors were there. The Case for Degrowth. So this is the newest stuff on this topic. This guy, Jefim Vogel, he is like behind the degrowth talks. I'm pretty sure he does like what I do for this. And there was a lot of interesting stuff in the chat too, but I don't really have time to read all of it, but I just wanted you to see it. And before I go, I had one more article that we could talk about, but I guess I'm going to check out and see who's in the chat and say hi really quick. And Nostradamus, hey, listen, I promise I will show your video. He has a good video, and he has a channel, and he's a good buddy. And he writes to me all the time about the Arctic, about the methane. David's a really nice person. I'm blessed with that. I am. Hi, Brian. And Rich, Diana, and Kim, and Joe D, and Jean. Nicaraguans live without consuming much at all. Well, I think we, instead of what's behind me, we're going to have to change. Things are going to have to be disassembled. If there's the political will to do it. Bye, Mark. Thank you. Thank you for coming and thank you for being a mod. It was really nice to see you. Uh, Roz is here and hi. Hi, Donna. Humans are the only species who deplete the environment of resources and move on to the next area. Also, keep having kids when not enough resources. Yeah, it's like because people are entitled to have children, they're disposable. It's just, it used to be where kids were the workers. And it still is around here with the Amish. The kids are, they raise the kids and then they're on the farm. Well, what's happening in the city, in the cities is the or in the suburbs where these women are having 7 kids. um you were going to mention Eyes Wide Shut, but I have but that skirted secret societies and eroticism. I don't know what you guys are talking about, so I just wanted to, yeah, Gene, Nicaragua's getting 30 inches of rain. They are getting hammered for the second time. The second time. And that's really why I wanted Nick to come on. I was hoping he would come on. Um, I wanted to say hi to, uh, oh, Kameshwari Kate. She's on too. Well, maybe I'll give you guys the link, and if anybody wants to come on, I've been a half an hour, and I've showed I've showed everything that I wanted to show. I'm going to close down those windows and I'm going to give you guys the link. And if anybody wants to come on in before I go. It's not a super long show tonight, but I think we covered a lot. There's a lot of interesting stuff out there. And I think the degrowth movement has merit. And I really would like the books. I just wish they were in audiobooks. And what else? I just like it. I like it. Same with Margaret Solomon. I love the climate mobilization. These are different kinds of groups. Extinction Rebellion. Somehow we have to have it. We have to have the joining of these movements to make one humongous movement with the parts. There's a degrowth part, the economic part, there's the extinction rebellion part of the kind of civil disobedience to get people interested in that activism. There's the teaching part. There's trying to get curriculum in the local level of degrowth. There's trying to change political wills. There's educating politicians, running for office with a degrowth platform and educating people on what it is. We have a GHG emissions crisis. We're talking about carbon capture. The techno utopians are talking about nuclear and all of those things. I don't know if we can stop them, but we can certainly advocate for a society that we would like to see. Don't you think? Don't you think? So I will put everything up. And I'm really glad that you all came. Jean, especially, I was thinking about you with the weather. And this is a real big part of the solution. I'm hoping I can get someone to join me from Degrowth Talks to bring them on for a wonderful question and answer with you wonderful people. I think that if you're going to sit back and bitch and moan and, you read Twitter and everybody's just complaining. Everybody bitches and moans and does nothing. They just complain. Well, here is something. There are a lot of some things, but you have to get off your ass and do those some things. And I'm not saying you, my people in the audience, I'm saying you, out there, people, stop whining. And then the next big job is to deprogram the cult in the United States. I don't know. They might have to put something in the water. All right, well, I guess nobody wants to join me. So I'm going to play a little bit. I was playing around with music. And let me just get this out of here. I was playing around with music, and I want to show you. Oh, we'll just play. Let's play something. You want to hear another something? Well, I say goodnight to you because nobody wants to come on with me. All right, we'll get some more music going. Thank you. Oh, wait. There is someone. I bet it's Kameshwari Kate. It's Brian. Oh, my goodness.
Brian.
Hi. How are ya? Peace out there. It's great to see you, Brian. How you doing out there on the left coast?
Doing all right. Doing okay. How about you?
Well,
actually, I know how you're doing. I was listening.
Yeah, but you know, I got kicked off of my regular Facebook, so I lost my family, friends, and I lost the sale of elliptical because they kicked me off for some reason. And you know, I use that marketplace, and they kicked me off, so I lost about a $600 sale, which would have been nice at this point. What's going on out there, weather-wise?
Doing okay. How about you?
Wait, I can't hear you very well. Let me make this louder.
I got it.
Okay.
I have figured out.
All right. Cool. Brian's been following us for a long time. Yeah, it's great. You're dark, but tell us how you are. Who you been watching?
Well, yeah, I tried to join the Extinction Rebellion Citizens Assembly.
Uh-huh.
And that the Zoom meetings are just chaotic. They're hectic. You try to join and you can't hear anybody. Everybody's got their camera disabled, and you got one guy that's like going.
Is this worldly? Is this a global one that you're trying to join, or like a statewide?
It's the United States, and they said they were going to be talking about universal basic income, yours, other people's, and then it said, whatever topic you want to have, and I got in like, I don't know, about 10 seconds worth of talking, and then it just turned to a garble, like completely unintelligible.
So Extinction Rebellion are techno-Luddites, in other words. Well, you know what? You have patience to see it through.
Yeah, I think it's just going to have to be local, and it's going to have to be when there's the political will locally.
Yeah.
The election here, 60% of people voted for Trump in my area, in my county, my district.
In Oregon, yeah.
So that you figure, like, out of every person you meet, probably two of them, out of every three people you meet, probably two of them are going to be, full-on Trump supporters. Which, honestly, I don't really think Trump's so bad. He's horrible and everything, but it's really because he's at the head of the Republican Party.
Yeah, but
he tried
to. Think there's a bit of a cult, what other president? Who flies the flags like that? I've never seen anything. Has anybody seen anything like this? Of course, it was a marketing opportunity to get all that shit.
Well, we're a free speech country. People could say what they want to. Just, you don't. Whatever.
I know.
Whatever.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I love listening to you. How long have we been buddies? How long have we been buddies online?
It was like 2015, the first time you and I. Yeah, it's pretty hateful.
Yeah, 2016.
I don't know.
See
it was
that
2015.
It was 15.
Or yeah, maybe it was 2016. Yeah.
Yeah, around there.
It was around the time of the
cool as
the
hell.
Eclipse. I think it was the summertime. Summer of 2016 when you and I first connected.
Oh,
right.
And I know about your family. See, it's like this is a family. We know about each other's families and our gardens. And I put up a picture that just shows America today, basically. This is what gets sold at vendors. So you tell me this ain't no cult. Look at this. This is nothing I ever thought I'd see in my lifetime. Can you see the picture, Brian?
Oh, yeah, I can see it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see, here's the thing that's been around. That's been with us. That's been in European culture. It's been in the United States culture for so long. It's not going to go away. Yeah, it's awful.
It's awful. It's tacky and crass. Well, anyway, I just thought I'd bring up that picture because it was disturbing to me. Come on, we didn't see that.
I've got a bunch of pictures like that I saved.
At country
I
fairs,
saved a bunch
did
of
you see
pictures like
those
that.
things at country fairs 6 years ago? Did you see any of those kinds of like the swastika being at a fair 6 years ago?
Out out here every once in a
No.
while, there's one guy that drives along with the truck that has the stars and bars flags hanging out the back of it, but it's
Yeah.
not like a regular feature here. I don't know.
Well,
Maybe some places. Not here. It's
it
not.
is in a lot of places. It is. It
Yeah.
really is. I think that the United States has a lot of work to do. Maybe it's
Yeah.
a group exorcism, deprogramming. Oh, that sound doesn't that sound like really ominous? Let's deprogram 72 million people. I don't know how. How about
I think it
education?
was
How about we start with
Zerlina the other day.
education? Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that would be good. Free education. I think they should open up the colleges for the online learning,
Yep.
for
And start with education. Educate people to get out of these crazy mindsets. There are people dying in South Dakota of COVID, but they don't want to say it. They don't want to say they're dying and saying no, it's not COVID, it's not COVID, and they're dropping dead. South Dakota. It's just so sad. But eh, did you want to comment on degrowth?
degrowth. Yeah. I think where it's going to be a forced degrowth. I don't think that we're going to get this vaccine is going to be just magically appear and everybody's going to be back to normal. I think we're going to have to get used to wearing masks and social distancing and ramping up testing for people that kind of have to be, out in the public and seeing a lot of different people. There's, I've read
So
read about it.
you're thinking that this degrowth show I did, they're talking about a post COVID. They had to look at their theories and all and take into consideration what happened with COVID in that like you said a forced degrowth, not the way not the kumbaya degrowth that we'd like to see.
Yeah. 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 That's the thing that kind of scares me when you go to Walmart. They have security cameras installed now. It's a total security state. It's just completely,
Yeah.
that stuff has been stood up like that fast. So I think, we're afraid of fascism on the right. We need to make sure that we don't veer into fascism on the left either,
Yeah, both ways. I saw a comment. Somebody made a comment on another. I don't know if it was here or in another show that they go into any store and there's so much more surveillance than there's ever been. Or if you're in a city at the crosswalks and all, I never want to go back to a city. It's just that's why I showed the Buffalo videos earlier. I just no. So we have Book Hermit.
It's so nice
Degrowth.
here. We have like kind of like a small city vibe, but we still have that real small. I mean, there's not a lot of security cameras here, but if you just go one town over, Lebanon, it's kind of like I don't know, a half and half mix. You do have a lot of security cameras at the bigger stores, the Walmarts and your box stores and stuff like that. They literally have like light standards with a security camera on every single one. But in this where I'm at, we're just like right at the foothills of the Cascades. It's really beautiful here.
Yes,
It's nice.
I
I'm
know.
grateful.
I
Grateful that I
know.
can.
My brother's out there too, 40-something years. I'm surprised you guys haven't hooked up yet. Well,
I know we need to. We should.
you could listen to his show.
I'm shy. I'm shy.
I know you're shy. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. You're here though, right? This is cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anybody else want to pop in? I can have 4. Why not? It's Tuesday night fun night. After I went through, I taught. I was a teacher, and now I'm just having fun. Anybody else? What do you think? Let's see some of the comments. Oh yeah, Nostradamus. He says there's lots of degrowth in the world's rainforests. Yeah, we know this. There's lots of degrowth in the forests here. The lumber trucks and the timber industry. Ugh, they suck. Now you're going to get me started. Hi, Goran. Goran says back to normal. Normal caused this mess. Boy, that's a whole show in itself. The determination of normal. What is normal? My gosh. Book Hermit is in Washington State too. Another in the Great Northwest. Oh yeah, it's beautiful in the Northwest. I wanted to move there at one time. My brother lives there. Hi, Gary. Someday they will start putting chips in our heads to control certain segments of the population. Well, you know what, Gary? I'm going to tell you something. If they could put a chip in my head that would stop the pain in my back, I would let them. Because I'm thinking, what the hell are they going to get from me? But if there was some kind of chip that worked in the head on the nerves, I'm in. I've suffered for
Me
20
too.
years. Brian, you too. We've talked about it. So maybe some of this stuff isn't so nefarious. And I'll tell you guys today, I had, wait, let me find my dun 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 noise. I don't know if I have it. Ah, shit. I'm not very good at this. I'm supposed to be pushing buttons and having them, and I haven't set that up yet. Let's see, what's this? Okay, I had my shingles vaccine. Oh my God, is everybody going to flip out? Yeah, here, the applause. Shingles vaccine today because I get this shit. And I think others do. It lives in your spine. I've gotten it a few times, but what happens after it is called post-herpetic neuralgia, and it makes you fucking miserable. I know, Brian, you know. I know you suffer like I do. And so I'm hoping that won't happen again. So yeah, that's really cool. Raza, his bank account is degrowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine degrew, especially with AT&T tomorrow that I have to fight with. They're trying to get $500 out of me, saying I'm burning up all this data. I'm not doing anything different. So now I think they're ripping me off. I'll have a nervous breakdown. I'm already, internet's expensive. Well, that's the thing about this show. Is the Wi-Fi box thing is for what I do here, and that's what they're overcharging me on. And that's what's getting me upset. I love technology. I hate technology. Brian, don't you have a love-hate Yeah. Tell us about your love-hate relationship.
Well, I got into computers basically to record music and just say I ended up signing for Twitter because I used to be I'm a political junkie. So I watch, stuff like Morning Joe, Rachel Maddow, all the MSNBC.
Really? Well, then you get a good understanding of all the shit that's going on or what they're lying to us about.
I mean, that's not to say that I'm a fanboy of all that or whatever, but I mean, you got to admit that, if you don't pay attention to politics in a government we're supposed to be self-governing, you kind of got to pay attention.
Yeah. I watch them all. Honestly, it's disgusting sometimes, but I do. Or else I wouldn't have a wide worldview. So you've got a wide worldview. What else?
Yep.
You're a gardener.
Okay. So, anyways, yeah, I got into computers to record music, and then I ended up getting sucked into Twitter, and then I think you and I met on Facebook. I was maybe on Facebook for a month or something,
and I think Humpty Dumpty Tribe.
Yep, Humpty Dumpty Tribe. Yes. It's exactly right.
Oh yeah, that's.
I found him and said, "What is this?"
Right? How many of us did? How many of us found Hambo and Littletail that way, and it changed your life?
Yeah. A lot of these channels actually opened my mind up a lot, and made me aware of a lot of things. For instance, the degrowth and the idea of a green economy, a Green New Deal, and all this stuff. If we just rely on the same technology and continue thinking that we can live our lives the same way that we're doing now,
right?
We're going to use the same amount of carbon. We're just kind of rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic, however you want to say it. We're still going through the same amount of resources. But I used to think that we could just, invent the right gadget, invent the right technology, and everything would be solved. You
were a techno-utopian.
I was.
Kim found Sam through me. Isn't it funny? So, Book Hermit, I wanted to know, he had this comment before, and I can't find it again. Book Hermit had a comment that, he's always negative. It's okay, though. Oh, here. Degrowth is just another word for global war. Is that because it's almost impossible, and people like the Saudis don't want to do it, or people in Cameroon don't want to do it. Or I mean, that is probably being studied right now, Book Hermit. What do you think, Brian?
I think it's the global north that doesn't want to give up their
Bingo.
quality of life stuff. You know, it's like, oh, we want to keep driving every day. We want to keep this. We don't want to have to go in public transportation, get COVID in public transportation. I want my own private car. You know?
I'm guilty. I have it. I'm
Yeah,
still living,
we have a car, but we drive about maybe twice a week, twice a month. Twice a month we go places twice a month maybe. We go pick up groceries twice a month. But other than that, we just stay home.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
try. I try to stay home. There's, but I couldn't yesterday. That's why I went to Buffalo and I unvideoed the trip a little bit. A little bit.
Shuffling off to Buffalo.
Yeah, I shuffled off up to Buffalo. Book Herbert says it's because people will kill to not degrow. Well, yeah. So then I guess if they're going to kill not to degrow, they're going to go to war and kill each other. Yeah, you're right. The industrial complex. It makes sense, Book Hermit. I'm going to look further into that. I wish I had a researcher helper. Somebody look into that further. Go into that potential of the degrowth and see if degrowth and the movement has dealt with this. That's a good one. We'll continue that. Gene, I'm so glad Gene, you're here. I think 8 o'clock is a good time. Shootsie, someone suggested Annie Sprinkle. Okay, they're talking about movies now. Frustrated atheists. Yes, we are spoiled jerks. I think we are. And Rich Diana, degrowth is for the adults in the room. The children in charge want nothing to do with it. Of course. But how long did it take other civilizations to change? And degrowth is, they talk about being democracy. And that's why I'm here to tell everybody, if you want to learn more, there's a million links. They have the pages. There's 3 books. I can't be the person that knows it all about everything. I'm trying to learn some of this technology, but I'm the person that introduces it to you or makes you think, right? Right, Brian?
That's right. Hey, have you heard what is it? What is used to be called Hierophant?
Yeah,
And
he
he
changed
was
it. He's awesome.
Doomhound.
Yeah, he comes on every now and then. Yeah.
Right.
He's
Yeah.
I think he's a great young man, and I'm older, so he's a young man. He's a terrific guy. He's creative, smart, and he knows where
He used to
it's
be in the
at.
military.
Yeah,
He
and now he sells
used to be in
solar.
the military as a solar installer. Anyways, he said this thing when you were talking. It made me think of this thing. He said, nature is a fascist. I think he maybe took it from somebody else, but he said, nature is a fascist. I mean, nature is going to impose whatever she imposes on us, and we're just not going to have a choice. We can either solve our problems with democracy and cooperation, or nature is a fascist. She'll solve the problem.
That's wild. That's wild. He was here tonight. I didn't see a comment.
Oh no, this was a long time
another
ago,
time.
but it's
Okay. Well,
stuck in my head.
I've chatted with him, I think, recently on something. But nature. That's write that to me and email it to me. I don't. But I will. If I
Okay.
use it, I will completely attribute it to him. Absolutely. So, all right, we've been on 54 minutes. Awesome. It says 54 minutes, probably longer because I got kicked off twice. That's interesting as hell. I am raising hell with this shit. Hey, hi, Carl. We seem to hate capitalism except when it comes to an energy economics. Well, to energy economics. That's something they do talk about in this video. There's so much and so many movements. Nostradamus. Every major civilization in the past has undergone degrowth, not by choice. Collapse is inevitable. Well, we talk about collapse a lot. Brian, you're a collapsnik.
I don't know. I don't assume to know what's going to happen, but it seems pretty precarious. A lot of the things going on right now are pretty precarious and pretty like yikes.
Yeah.
So we'll
Yikesy.
see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Even though
I'm gonna sign off. I'm gonna sign off right now so I can
Okay.
go get a notebook. I'm gonna write that down and I'll do that research. Maybe I'll
That's
come back on
awesome.
and
I'm so happy you came. I'm going to end the show soon, but I am really thrilled you came on. And
honestly,
this is
I
cool.
thought this was a link to the degrowth thing. I thought it was a link to the growth thing. I was like, what's this? And I just filled it out and I was like, oh, here I am.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm really,
Yeah.
really happy. That made me happy. I mean, we've known each other a long time. This is great. All right. Well, Jean said, you take care. Mwah. Peace out, baby.
Everyone.
I'm just going to give a couple more comments. And Jean said, Sandy, this is better time. So maybe 8 o'clock will be better. And I will just have to get my shit done faster. You know, it's just hard when you're a person that does a million zillion things and feels crappy doing them. All right. Raza, polarization is the common enemy. Integration is the required response. Global problems require an integrated global response. Hopefully the UN will wake up to this real soon. Yeah, it is true. Very good. Very good. They need to be, let's see. Wait. Oh, it's going too fast. Okay, Raza, the UN needs to be granted executive powers to deal with climate change. Nothing less than a global response will mitigate the situation now. Global response. And all these groups have to get together. Well, this has been really good. Thank you guys very much for coming. I appreciate this. And I'm going to play around and basically say goodnight. So everybody likes the 8 o'clock start time. All right. Thank you, Brian, for coming on. And thank you guys for everything. Oh, gosh. Book Herman says the UN can't solve anything. They make things worse. How about there's some middle ground there? And that's a whole other show. I'm peacing out, saying goodnight. Okay? All right, guys. Farewell. See you Thursday night. All right?